Hey there, this is another quick tip video. What we're going to talk about is Managed Metadata Services using SharePoint 2013. So I'm just going to go into a documents library, show you how I set it up with a custom term set, and then work through some libraries to show how you can do some of your searching and your filtering with it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my libraries for my documents, and I'm just going to put a quick filter on here, and I want to filter just on SharePoint types of stuff, and I'm doing this with the managed metadata tags that are already here. So we're looking at our library here. I'm going to go into the library settings, and you'll notice in the columns area there's a column called associations, and the type of column is managed metadata, and that's basically what I did for this one. I added that column to the actual library, and then I basically picked a term set that was created custom by me as opposed to using an enterprise term set in this example. So I'm going to go into this column called associations, and it's pretty straightforward. In this column that's in this library, you give it a name, gets a description. I would like the column to require at least some information, so I'm saying yes to require that the column contains information, but I'm not worrying about enforcing any values. I will, however, allow multiple values. In other words, people can apply different types of tags to a particular document in the library. And the display value for the format will be to display the term label in the field. It's a little bit shorter in the field there. You'll notice here that I can select from a managed term set if there is a higher level term set already out there being used, kind of at an enterprise level. But for this example, instead of going out and looking for one, I've created a custom term set, and this one's called associations. The thing to remember here is this custom term set that I'm building here, or that I'm using here, is at the site collection level. So the good news is any subsite, list, or library that's in this site collection can also pull tags from this custom term set. I'll open up this association drop down in a second, but we'll just cover a few more items in the page. I'm not allowing fill-in, so I don't want people to type in tags of their own. I want them to pick from something that's in the list. And in this example, I don't have a default value, but I could, very similar to the choice field. So let's go back up to the actual associations custom term set and open it up. And what I've got here are terms, actually sub-term groups for career, finance, quality, and SharePoint. In this example, I'll open them all up, and you'll see that within career, I'm drilling down one more level to the types of documents I think would be related to career. I'll open my quality one, and you'll see that the sub-term sets, or basically the subordinate types of tags in quality could be case studies, checklist, presentations. And then we'll open up SharePoint. And when I open up SharePoint, you'll see again we've got pretty good amount of tags in there, and they are grouped into sub-term sets too. For instance, I'll open up Access, and then you can see there's even more down below that. Adoption, Content Management. You could even see that the Content Management sub-term set actually has a lower level one for taxonomy, so we can go pretty low. The other thing I'll point out here is you can see me scrolling up and down in this kind of small amount of real estate. I can also use the term set manager. I'm going to click on that. You're going to get a little bit bigger form. However, it gives you some more real estate, but what it also does is for every term you have in your term set, there's more general sorting and properties information about that particular term. What you call it, more description, what language it might be, whether or not it's available for tagging, all the way down to the label that you see by default or other labels you want to apply. It also lets you know what this particular term is a member of, what term set name it's a member of. So as I go through some of these, you can see that I can click on taxonomy, and it's asking me if I wanted to save because I did have an edit form up before, but I hadn't made any changes to it. And we'll open up one more, and taxonomy metadata, same idea. we get more opportunities to add data over here. That's pretty much it. So this is the actual term set manager screen, gives you a little bit more real estate. So now I'm going to go back to the site, and I'm going to do that by just going to SharePoint Native. I'm going to leave the library settings, come back to the page we started at, and then I'm going to enter the library again, and I'm going to go and apply that association for SharePoint. I'm just filtering the list for now. And as you can see, I've got one or more associations with particular documents. I can go into a particular library item, edit the properties, and then you'll see that I have a place to put an association. There's two ways I can put an association. Let's just say this relates to web parts. If I start excuse me, typing the word, if there are some terms in there that I want to use that start with the word web, I can go ahead and use them. So I'll click this one here. Or I can click the two little tickets here, little tags, and if I click this one, I'm going to get more of a open list to kind of peruse the available terms that are part of this particular term set. And let's just say I also wanted to put something in for governance. If I click it twice, you'll notice that it populates my tags area down here. Or I could go into highlight one and just click the word select. That's it. So I'm going to take an OK, and now those are added. I'll say save, and now those are going to be added to the particular document that I was in before, right up here. The other part that's kind of cool about this is when I want to navigate in my particular list or library, I've turned on Managed Metadata Services navigation and filtering, and that's done at the library settings level. By specifying that the association term set's being used, it produces a little drill down in my left nav bar or left nav menu here to let me do more searching. So I can be in my list. I'm going to open up SharePoint, and this time I'm going to say, what documents do I have that relate to governance? So I'm simply going to click down and click on governance here. And what it does is it shows me any document where governance was tagged. And as you can see, some of these other tags are in here with the documents too. So the point here is if I simply click on governance and say I want any document that has that tag on it, it'll bring me something like this. However, if I go up to a higher level like the SharePoint itself that has subs underneath it, you'll notice a little thing opens up right here to the right to filter on that particular term only. So that's a way to kind of trim it down a bit. So if I click on SharePoint only, what I'm going to get here are documents that really just have SharePoint or SharePoint presentation in there. And in this particular example, I've got this list filtered a little bit differently. So we'll go ahead and cruise for a while here. Look for documents that relate to adoption, content management, settings. So nothing, actually there might be some up toward the top. So there's no documents in there that have that particular tag on them. And let's take a look at migration. I'll scroll up a little bit, and there's a few documents that have migration in the actual settings for that. So that's pretty much it. So we go in and we add this column in the library settings. We specify which term set we want to use, set some of the parameters and the configurations, and then we also in the library settings go in there and say we want to use managed metadata navigation. So I'll show you what that looks like. Library settings, and when we look down here we have metadata navigation settings. So by clicking on this one, I'll get a dialog box here, a configuration window that lets me specify that I want the selected hierarchy fields to be used for that navigation I just showed you. And as you can see, I used the associations term set. If I wanted to add another level of filtering to do particular further drill downs and more granular filtering, I could also come down into here and put associations into the filters, as well as other types of columns in SharePoint that qualify to be used as a configure for key filters. And that's about it for this one right here. So we're going to come out back to the home page, and that was a little run through on managed metadata services with term sets, with custom term sets that are being used by a particular library in this particular site. Again, the term sets are available at the site collection level. So if I had other subsites in here or other lists and libraries, even action tracking lists that could benefit from being able to access or tag that content by this by the content and the term sets and subterms of this term set, I could do that too. Thanks a lot.